Hey yo, it's your boy J Tom Reactions. We're here for another edition of Let's Talk About It. All right, we're gonna talk about this today. I got Fantastic Hip Hop. Why Drake is now suing over the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna hold y'all any further, but before we get started with the video, if y'all want to be part of the Yatu Savis community, go ahead and hit that logo that's right there on the side of the video. Also, if y'all want to follow me on X or Instagram, JTom Reactions is the handle. Also, if y'all want to go ahead and send me a donation, y'all don't have to. Y'all don't have to. But if you want to, and I appreciate the ones that have, go ahead and it's JTom Reactions is also the Cash App handle. So without further ado, Fantastic Hip Hop. You got the stage, my bro. Let's go.
Now, if you needed any further indication that Drake's album failed and that he is in absolute shambles right now over this, right as his latest record has flopped on the charts, as everyone is noticing Drake's clear and obvious decline in the entire music industry and hip-hop is celebrating everything Kendrick Lamar is accomplishing, Drake has done what he does best at this point, which is just run away from the studio and trying to make any sort of genuinely good music, and has went back to his team to find new ways to lose everybody's respect, because even after pretending to get back to the music with this new album, after that clearly hasn't worked. Drake is pushing his lawsuit even further than we have ever seen before, and with everything that has just happened from Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show to the flop of his new record, the OVO rapper is making this entire case and what he is trying to prove even messier than it already was. And really, with what Drake is now going after specifically, I don't even know how he can even call himself a rapper anymore. But now, before we go any further into just how much of a disaster this all is for Drake, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And so now when it comes to Drake...
Hey, go ahead and like the video and also subscribe to Fantastic Hip Hop. You already know what to do. Let's continue. Continue, Fantastic Hip Hop. Continue cooking.
I can't believe that as a rapper or artist on any level possible, that you could go to the measures that he is, all to validate his own delusions and just never even try to accept the reality of what has actually happened in his career. Because as Drake and his team are now pushing this suit even further than ever and are trying to make things a lot more complicated, which we are going to get into what they have done shortly. Overall, Drake is raising his status as a master manipulator to an even greater level than we have ever seen, because from the fact that Drake is trying to tell his fans that he is getting back to the music when behind the scenes he is trying to diminish the integrity of hip-hop culture as a whole, to the fact that now after seeing this album release, and despite whatever else you want to say, no matter how you want to interpret the numbers, it had the support of platforms behind it, because when you opened up any streaming service, it was featured all over everything. With things like this, despite the clear...
Hey, he's cooking. I was trying to see how cap those allegations were about Spotify not having SSS for you on there, and it was cap. I went on there, I searched it, boom, like that. I didn't even have to search it because it was on there. But I went ahead just because I wanted to search it, and boom, it was right there. So for all those allegations, that was not fact. Let's continue.
Logic and facts of what is going on, Drake is now committed to something that is even worse than we could have ever imagined. Which of course is saying a lot, because beyond just doing about anything to get his way, Drake has now committed to straight up lying and twisting the truth, all to make sure that his fan base at the very least stays behind him with everything he does and doesn't just continue to support him, but also gets mad at everybody else more and more in his name, as Drake is now doing everything he possibly can to fuel any narrative that will make him look like more of a victim, and is really just making them bigger than we have ever seen any other artist ever try to. And of course, we are seeing this most prominently right now with all of the stuff Drake is trying to say and push about how he is being suppressed by the industry, and that they are trying to actively ruin his career. And of course, with this, when you are not getting your information from people like him and ACK, it's so clearly not true. Considering the point we are at, of course, since people actually believe what Drake and the guys who do everything to support him have to say, we are now at a point where people on Drake's side of things are so willing to do just anything to help him get a win. And they are seemingly not going to leave his side no matter what he does at this point, because they have made that very clear. That these fans are willing to and are already disrespecting the very fabric of hip-hop and the nuances of the art form, all because it helps Drake. And even more ridiculous than this, they are trying to spread this narrative that Kendrick Lamar is this industry plan, and that everything he is getting is all fake and built on lies, which...
Have y'all heard that? I haven't. And if that's the case, that people are actually saying that and spewing that lie, like, what has Drake been for the past 15 years? Just let that sink in. Drop it in the comment section. If Drake isn't the industry plant, then who has been the industry plant for 15 years? Drop it in the comment section. You tell me who you think the plant is.
It's all just so ridiculous, and while we all realize that Drake is just on the wrong side of everything here, and there is no way around that at this point, all of this brings us to the latest installment of what Drake is trying to do with this suit, which seemingly after seeing Kendrick Lamar just win like we have never seen before recently, and even with his new album, after following up everything that happened with Kendrick, of course SSS for You just did not bring Drake back to the same level that he used to be on. Because of all of this, now Drake is doing what he thinks is the last option he has to try and prove that his career is not over and that all of these losses he has been taking are not as bad as we have all seen. As this time around, what Drake and his team are doing is once again whining and complaining with the same claims which are stating that Not Like Us and the support his label gave that record are ruining his career in ways that he never came back from. But making things different and adding to all of it, what Drake is now doing is calling out his label for trying to avoid moving further with all of this. And then is also trying to say that his label was under the impression that Drake was going to drop this entire suit before it even got this far, but that he surprised them by doing all of this, and this has been another reason why this entire process he is in is taking longer than he believes it should. And what's more significant than these claims about the back and forth about the timeline of this all between Drake and everyone he wants to take down since he lost this rap beef, is that he is trying to tie all of these things together by ultimately saying that whatever delays in time there were, it was intentional on his label's end, and this is all because of no other event than the Super Bowl. And while Drake is claiming that his label made Kendrick play the Super Bowl to ruin his image forever, Drake is trying to use this to say that Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance...
Non-biased question. It's just a straightforward question. And y'all can get in the comment section and talk about it if you guys have gotten this far into the video. Do y'all think that UMG is trying to get Drake out of the music industry? Do you think that they promoted Not Like Us the way that... Do you think that they promoted Not Like Us? Do you think that they're doing that to basically disintegrate Drake? Like basically get him out of the music industry? Drop it in the comment section. Let me know.
Strengthens his case overall because they are trying to claim that the label had to give permission to the NFL to have Kendrick play this record at such an important event where over 130 million people were tuned in the first place. And bringing things even further, Drake's team is saying that because Kendrick played this song and with the way he did it, overall they believe that with the lyrics and messaging of the show, that the secret goals that Drake's label had are starting to finally reveal themselves, and with that they can see the true intentions of what this track was always meant to be, which in their eyes, of course, was all this pre-planned out way to end Drake's career. And I mean, with Drake now trying to escalate this entire situation by making drama about the timing of it all, and then bringing in what went down at the Super Bowl and the viewership that event got, with him now bringing in what is already one of the biggest moments in hip-hop that we have ever seen into these ridiculous set of claims that he is making, which is all over losing a rap beef. I mean, well, nothing is off the table for Drake, and I did say in the past that Drake was definitely waiting for this moment to happen so that he can try to just play the victim role with a bigger and bigger card than he ever has. Still, seeing him really go through with all of this and using this to go after his label and Not Like Us is just so pathetic. And there is no way around that, because while Drake is trying to claim that the message and specifically lyrics of this song have ruined him, it doesn't matter what has happened to his image because he lost a rap beef, but he really just has no ground to...
Here's another question. Do you think Not Like Us ruined Drake's career, or do you think Drake ruined his own career? Do you think the events after Not Like Us ruined his career? Do you think it was Drake, the one that was making matters worse? Drop it in the comment section.
Stand on with this entire thing, because no matter how much he whines and how much of a victim role that he tries to play here, when you really look at this entire moment for what it represents, no matter how you want to put it, and ultimately, this is what Drake is gonna have to face eventually. Drake didn't just agree to be in a rap beef where he knew the full-on consequences of being in one, and of course in the past he had no issue with how these songs have affected other rappers' images when he was on the other side of things. But also, Drake of course also said just as bad things about Kendrick Lamar as Kendrick did to him, which once again just highlights how Drake only cares about the effects of this when it is about him and nobody else. And now, even worst of all for Drake, and this really just shows that this guy does not think anything.
And that's what I'm saying. My whole opinion on this whole thing is Drake has used UMG to basically push out his disses to other people. Why all of a sudden, when it's done to you and when your career is essentially being, put on the chopping block, now it's a problem? Oh, is it because your feelings got hurt? Like, you got to think about this shit, Drake. Look at all the people that you have. Look at all the people that you have talked about. Look at all the relationships that you have fucked up. All this shit can be used against you, bro. And all I'm saying is, man, you did this to yourself. All those subliminals that you have said over the years are going to be used in the court. Tailor Made is going to be used in court. Push-ups is going to be used in court. All these songs are going to be used in court. You know UMG is going to bring this up. And this is the mistake that you made and continue to make. That's all I'm saying. Continue, Fantastic Hip Hop. You're almost done. You got 4 more minutes, bruh.
Through. On the new album he just released, SSS For You, Drake is still dissing other people, whether that's Joe Budden or Kendrick Lamar himself here. And really, when you...
Exactly. You still going. This seems like a kamikaze move. Where you're pointing, oh look, this guy did this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing to this guy. Come on, bro. Be real with yourself. That's why your career is going to the floor. That's why your career is being put in the toilet. I don't know. This shit pisses me off. I'm sorry. Let's continue. Let's continue, Fantastic Hip Hop. Continue.
You put that into perspective and see that Drake is still doing the same thing that he has filed all of these papers over in the first place. Drake is still doing that same thing that his label has made clear that he has been trying to get away with on every single one of his albums over and over again, and of course sneak dissing other people. And with the fact that Drake is still doing this here, and he really didn't even try to hide it this much because everybody knew who he was clearly talking about when he was rapping on this album, again, you just can't stand in the hip-hop world and try to act like the tough guy and then play the victim in these papers. And because of all of this, this is why for people like myself and people who just want to see hip-hop succeed with everything that has made it such an important and great art form intact over everything else, this is why we want to move on from the Drake era and why he is never going to be able to redeem his legacy or image in a lot of people's eyes, because never before in the lineage of this entire genre have we ever seen any rapper, albeit one who was once seen as somebody near the top of everything, try to actively ruin the very way rappers and artists can express themselves altogether. And I mean, because Drake has now gotten so bitter that he is going to try and ruin and change the context of not just this beef with Kendrick Lamar, but the moments now that have pushed hip-hop as a whole to higher levels than we have ever seen, which again, putting aside your own feelings, is allowing more people in hip-hop to win. I mean, as ridiculous and even comical as some of the stuff we see Drake do is, seeing him just go this far where he is now going to drag the Super Bowl and everything that happened there into this, it is beyond pathetic. And when you hear this same guy try to rap like he is still on top and that he is unfazed from everything that happened on a track like SSS for You and Give Me a Hug, or we are still seeing him walking around on his tour like nothing has ever happened and that he actually won this beef, you just can't do all that and then make the weakest moves we have seen in hip-hop history. Drake has got to pick a side at the very least. But of course, while I say all of this, he is just not going to ever do this, and his fans are allowing this to happen. And so now going forward, as we are only going to see Drake drag all of this out more and more while at the same time he tries to make some sort of a comeback in the rap game as well, just get ready for him to continue to separate from the rest of hip-hop culture, but in the process, as Drake ruins everything he ever stood for in rap, we are just going to see something in hip-hop emerge more like we have never seen, because as we talked about earlier, Drake is actively just pushing his fans and anyone who even believes him a little to accept the ideas that he is being suppressed and stopped by the industry because they don't want to see him win. And overall, as Drake is really starting to spread these narratives to new levels, and really with this new album, it is just giving people more fuel to believe that this is actually what's going on, because with the record flopping, and of course Drake not accepting the record's failure and putting it onto everybody else, overall Drake is just taking this entire rap beef to places that nobody could have ever predicted. And because we are now headed further than we have ever been, everything around this situation.
Tell me what you guys think. There's a minute left. Tell me what you guys think of this video that Fantastic Hip Hop is doing. To be honest with you, I think that Drake did it to himself, and he's continuing to do it to himself. That's why he's suing over the Super Bowl, because in his heart of hearts, he believes that he's not the problem. And I believe that the people enabling this should really take a look at themselves. This not only would... How is it? Okay. This basically gives, the whole thing about freedom of artistic, basically your freedom of being an artist. That would basically destroy that if Drake wins. Your freedom of speech would basically be taken. And that doesn't sit right with me. But anyways, Fantastic Hip Hop, you cooked, as always. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Again, if y'all want to be a part of the Ya Tu Sabes community, go ahead and hit that button right there on the side of the screen. If y'all want to follow me on X and Instagram, JTomReactions is the handle. And it's also my Cash App handle if y'all want to send me a donation. Again, you guys don't have to, but if you do, JTomReactions, that's a Cash App handle. Let's go. It's been your boy JTomReactions. I'm out this bitch. Ya Tu Sabes people. Ya Tu Sabes community. We are out this bitch.